We used two of the most advanced AI models to create two characters. We will put them face to face. Their arguments will be evaluated by 5 independent AI models across multiple criteria, scored from 0 to 100. This is AI Debates. Should healthcare and education be free for everyone?
Absolutely, healthcare and education must be free for everyone, because they are human rights, not commodities. No one chooses to get sick, and no child chooses the family they're born into. Tying access to money means punishing people for circumstances beyond their control. Capitalism treats these essentials as markets, where profit comes first, leaving millions uninsured, in debt, or excluded. Socialism insists that society is stronger, healthier, and more prosperous when every person can see a doctor and get an education without fear of bankruptcy. Free healthcare and education don't just protect individuals, they lift entire economies by creating a healthier, more skilled population. Denying them is not freedom, it's a tax on the poor. Guaranteeing them is the foundation of a just society.
Nothing is truly free, someone always pays. The question is whether healthcare and education are better delivered through market competition or government monopoly. Private systems create superior quality and innovation. America leads in medical breakthroughs precisely because profit incentives drive research. Countries with free healthcare ration care through waiting lists and bureaucratic delays. Ask Canadians traveling to America for surgeries. Competition drives down costs and improves service. LASIK eye surgery and cosmetic procedures, not covered by insurance, have become cheaper and better over time. Meanwhile, heavily regulated healthcare sectors see costs skyrocket. Education follows the same pattern. Private schools consistently outperform public ones with less spending per student. School choice programs show dramatic improvements when parents can select schools competing for their business. Free government services become bloated, inefficient monopolies serving bureaucrats rather than customers. When people pay directly, they demand value. When government pays with other people's money, waste is inevitable. Universal access is better achieved through competitive markets that drive down prices than through government rationing disguised as free services.
Is wealth inequality necessary for innovation?
No, wealth inequality is not necessary for innovation. Innovation comes from creativity, education, and collaboration, not from billionaires hoarding resources. History proves this. The internet, space exploration, vaccines, and countless medical advances were funded by public institutions and collective effort, not private greed. In fact, extreme inequality often stifles innovation because talent from poorer backgrounds is wasted when people can't afford education or must work just to survive. Socialism expands innovation by ensuring everyone has the tools and freedom to contribute, scientists, artists, and entrepreneurs alike. Rewarding innovation is important, but it doesn't require obscene wealth gaps. It requires a system that values ideas over inherited privilege. Inequality isn't fuel for progress, it's a brake on the full potential of human creativity.
Yes, wealth inequality is absolutely necessary for innovation. Innovation requires massive risk-taking, and without the possibility of substantial rewards, few would attempt it. Consider the entrepreneurs who created our modern world: Jobs, Gates, Bezos, Musk. They risked everything on unproven ideas, often facing years of losses and potential bankruptcy. Would they have taken these risks for equal outcomes? The possibility of great wealth motivated them to work 80-hour weeks and bet their futures on revolutionary concepts. Innovation also requires capital accumulation. Wealthy investors fund thousands of startups, knowing most will fail. Without concentrated, wealth-seeking returns, there's no venture capital to finance new technologies. Socialist countries consistently lag in innovation precisely because they lack these incentive structures. Inequality signals where society most values contribution. High rewards in tech drove talent toward creating smartphones and internet services that transformed civilization. Equal pay would give no signal about where innovation is most needed. Even failed attempts at wealth creation often produce valuable innovations. The pursuit of riches drives experimentation and risk-taking that benefits everyone through new technologies, medicines, and services.
Should essential industries, energy, housing, transport be state-controlled?
Yes, essential industries like energy, housing, and transport must be state-controlled because they are the backbone of society. When left to private corporations, these sectors are run for maximum profit, not human need. Housing becomes speculation, energy prices skyrocket, and transport deserts unprofitable communities. Under socialism, These industries are treated as public goods, reliable, affordable, and universally accessible so no one is denied basic necessities. State control doesn't mean inefficiency, it means democratic accountability, where decisions about vital resources are guided by social need, sustainability, and long-term planning rather than quarterly profits. Profit-driven control of essentials is like letting someone own the air we breathe. By keeping them public, we guarantee fairness, stability, and security for all.
Absolutely not. State control of essential industries guarantees inefficiency, shortages, and stagnation, precisely where we can least afford them. Look at the evidence: Soviet breadlines, Venezuela's oil crisis despite massive reserves, California's rolling blackouts despite abundant resources. When government controls essential industries, they become essentially broken. Competition in these sectors drives innovation that benefits everyone. Private energy companies developed fracking, solar panels, and electric vehicles. Private transport created ride-sharing, efficient logistics, and automotive safety advances. Private housing construction adapts quickly to changing needs and preferences. Essential industries need market signals most urgently. Prices indicate scarcity and abundance, directing resources where needed. Government-controlled prices create shortages, rent control, or surpluses, agricultural subsidies. State control eliminates accountability. Private companies serving customers poorly lose money and fail. Government agencies serving citizens poorly just demand bigger budgets. The most essential industries require the most efficiency, innovation, and responsiveness, exactly what markets provide and government control destroys. Competition ensures these vital needs are met better and cheaper than bureaucratic monopolies ever could.
Does free competition produce better outcomes than central planning?
Free competition may produce short-term efficiency, but it also breeds chaos, inequality, and waste. Companies duplicate efforts, cut corners, exploit workers, and damage the environment, all in pursuit of profit. Central planning, when democratic and flexible, allows society to set priorities: affordable housing, clean energy, healthcare, education. Things markets consistently undersupply because they aren't immediately profitable. Planning doesn't mean banning competition, it means guiding resources toward collective needs rather than gambling on what sells. Capitalism's competition gives us luxury yachts for billionaires, while millions lack homes. Socialism's planning focuses on what actually matters for human well-being. True progress comes not from leaving society to market anarchy, but from coordinated action that aligns innovation with justice and sustainability.
Free competition produces vastly superior outcomes to central planning. This is proven by overwhelming historical evidence and basic economic logic. Competition harnesses millions of minds solving problems simultaneously. No central planner, however brilliant, can match the collective intelligence of markets where countless entrepreneurs experiment with different solutions. Markets process infinite variables, consumer preferences, resource availability, technological possibilities that overwhelm any planning committee. The Soviet Union's collapse definitively settled this debate. Despite abundant resources and educated population, central planning produced chronic shortages, technological stagnation, and economic collapse. Meanwhile, competitive economies created unprecedented prosperity. Competition creates immediate feedback through profit and loss. Successful innovation spread rapidly, failures are quickly abandoned. Central planning lacks this correction mechanism. Failed policies persist for decades because bureaucrats face no market discipline. Look at any sector. Competitive industries, technology, retail show rapid innovation and falling prices. Heavily planned sectors, healthcare, education show stagnation and rising costs. Competition rewards serving others' needs, planning rewards serving political authorities. The incentive structures determine outcomes. Markets optimize for consumer satisfaction, planning optimizes for bureaucratic preferences.
Which system creates more prosperity for the average person? Socialism creates more prosperity for the average person because it ensures that wealth is shared rather than hoarded. In capitalist systems, GDP may rise, but most gains flow to the top while wages stagnate, housing costs explode, and basic needs become luxuries. Prosperity isn't just about averages, it's about whether ordinary people can live securely. Under socialism, prosperity means guaranteed health care, free education, affordable housing, and dignified work so that progress lifts everyone, not just shareholders. Countries that have embraced strong socialist policies consistently show higher life satisfaction, lower poverty, and better public health. Capitalism measures prosperity in profit. Socialism measures it in people's quality of life. For the average person, there's no contest. Socialism delivers broader, fairer, and more lasting prosperity.
Capitalism creates dramatically more prosperity for average people than any alternative system. The evidence is overwhelming and undeniable. Since 1800, capitalist countries have seen living standards multiply by factors of 10 to 30x. Average Americans today live better than medieval kings, with air conditioning, automobiles, smartphones, and medical care that would seem miraculous to past generations. Global extreme poverty has plummeted from 90% to under 10% as market economies spread. Countries adopting capitalism, South Korea, Singapore, Chile, Eastern Europe after 1989, see rapid improvements in average living standards. Compare living standards, average Americans versus -1 Venezuelans, South Koreans versus North Koreans, West Germans versus East Germans before reunification. The capitalist populations consistently enjoy higher incomes, better healthcare, more consumer choices, and greater opportunities. Even capitalism's poor live well historically. America's poverty line exceeds median incomes in most socialist countries. Our poor have access to technologies, foods, and services unavailable to the wealthy in planned economies. Capitalism's trickle-down isn't theory, it's observable reality. When the wealthy invest and consume, they create jobs, drive innovation, and increase productivity that benefits everyone.